Today, we're going to run a series of experiments using the AI tools I normally use for fashion shoots. Our goal is simple: to understand which AI model performs best when it comes to textile and product imagery. We'll be testing every image model available on Higgsfield Soul, Nano Banana Pro, FLUX point 2, Seedream 2.2, REVE, GPT Image. Every single one of them, and we'll test them all using the exact same product photo. Here's the idea. When you take a real product photo inside a store, how does each AI model interpret it? How does the realism change? What happens to the lighting, the fabric texture, the shadows, the colors, the sharpness? We're going to walk through the strengths and weaknesses of each model together. And yes, every model will receive the same prompt, so they'll all be competing under equal conditions. The reason I'm doing this comparison is simple. Anyone who works with product photography needs clear answers to a key question: which AI model works better for which type of textile shot? By the end of this video, you'll know which model shines in which scenario, which one preserves fabric details more accurately, and which one produces a more fashion editorial style output. And by the way, later in the video, I'll show you a completely different tool that can automate all of this much faster, but we'll get to that part soon. Now, let's start with the first step: preparing our product image. Because no matter how powerful the AI is, you can't get a great result from a bad photo. Your reference image needs good lighting, clean texture, visibility, and proper clarity, and this applies to all AI image editing tools. All right, let's get into it. Now we're starting with the first model: Higgsfield Soul. There's one important detail you should know about Soul. To generate an output, you need to describe the product entirely through the prompt, and you also have to choose one of Higgsfield's preset models. So you can't upload your own model photo, and the tool doesn't read product images directly. This makes Soul a little limiting for real textile work, but on the other hand, it does allow you to create a consistent character and generate content around that character, which can be useful for certain creators. For our test, we're still going to describe the product and its details manually and see how Soul handles it. In simple, basic products, this method can work. But compared to the other models we'll test later, Soul clearly falls behind in flexibility and accuracy, especially for professional product imaging. Now we move on to the next model, Nano Banana Pro. This model performs extremely well across many industries, from cinematic portraits to general product visuals. But in this comparison, we're focusing purely on textile accuracy. What matters to us is how realistically it presents the garment: the texture, sharpness, the stitching, the fabric behavior, the silhouette, and how naturally the model interacts with the clothing. So as we look at its output, pay attention to these key points. How well does it preserve the fabric texture? Does the garment's shape stay true to the original product? Are the shadows, folds, and highlights believable? And does the model's pose and facial expression feel natural enough for real fashion content? As you look at Nano Banana Pro's result with the same prompt, ask yourself, would you use this model for your textile products? Or does it still fall short for you? If you had to choose right now, would Nano Banana Pro be your pick? Personally, I don't think this is the best one, so keep watching. The better models are coming. Now we're testing the same top and bottom with the exact same prompt on FLUX 2.0 Pro. This model is known for being extremely fast and very flexible across many creative fields. And yes, the generation speed is impressive. It produces vertical images almost instantly. But when we look at textile accuracy, things start to fall apart. In our results, the product color didn't come out correctly. The texture was inconsistent, and the details of the fabric simply didn't match the original item. To be fair, the face and eye details of the model are not bad at all, and the overall pose feels natural, but our priority here is the garment itself. And FLUX still struggles to represent clothing the way we need. So even though FLUX 2.0 Pro performs great in many other industries, for textile and try-on content, it's still not reliable enough. Up to this point, Nano Banana Pro has been the closest to a usable result, but we're not done yet. The better models are just ahead. Now we're testing the same top and bottom again, but this time with Seedream. Among all the models I've tested so far, Seedream has consistently been the best performer for textile products. It's been the most stable model for a long time. And even though it hasn't received an update recently, it still delivers some of the strongest results. In the try-on and fashion category, what makes Seedream stand out is the overall balance it achieves. The model and environment details feel natural, the lighting is clean, and it produces a sharp 4K look that's very useful for both social media content and website imagery. Faces, poses, and the overall mood of the images often look more controlled compared to other models. Of course, it's not perfect. Sometimes the fabric details aren't captured exactly right, and the color accuracy can slip depending on the product. But considering the credit cost and the output quality, Seedream is still one of the most practical and reliable choices you can use today. And when we look at our results here, out of 4 attempts, at least 1 image is good enough to post directly on social media or even use on an online store. For AI-generated textile content, that success rate is honestly amazing. So for now, Seedream remains my go-to option, and I'm genuinely excited to see what the next update will bring. Now we're testing the same top and bottom with the same prompt, this time using GPT Image. For this model, the closest option available is a 2:3 aspect ratio, so we're going with that. But the results speak for themselves. GPT Image is simply not suitable for textile or try-on content right now. The garment details, colors, and fabric behavior are far off, and the overall output doesn't match the realism we need for fashion visuals. On top of that, the credit cost is significantly higher compared to the other models we tested. So there's really no reason to go deeper into this one. For textile work, GPT Image is clearly not ready yet. Now we're testing the same product in the same prompt with REVE. This model performs well in many creative fields, but when it comes to textile and try-on content, the results are far from what we need. The fabric, colors, and overall garment accuracy just don't hold up. You can already see the output on the screen. There isn't much more to say. For try-on and textile work, REVE is simply not ready at the moment. So we've now tested 6 different AI models with the same product and the same prompt. Higgsfield Soul, Nano Banana Pro, Seedream, FLUX 2.0 Pro, GPT Image, and REVE. You've seen all the results on the screen. Each model has its strengths in different industries. But when it comes to textile and try-on quality, the differences are very clear. Feel free to decide for yourself which one looked the most accurate. Your own workflow might need something slightly different. My personal recommendation, especially for fashion and try-on work, is to keep building your prompts around Seedream. It remains the most reliable option for stable garment details and realistic visual output. And if you want to take a closer look at the exact prompt I used today, just reach out in the comments. I'd be happy to share it with you. Now, let's move on to a little bonus tool. There's an app on the App Store that lets you generate ready-to-use visuals with preset environments. It runs on both Seedream and Nano Banana infrastructure, includes nearly 30 curated presets, 7 AI models, and offers top, bottom, dress, and accessory combinations with multiple pose options. With this tool, you can instantly create social media visuals and professional website images without any complex setup. It's a super practical way to speed up your content creation workflow and definitely worth checking out.